I started now to record. The
Okay.
webinar is on.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Marina Cenedese. I am a junior project manager at ITKAM, which is the Italian Chamber of Commerce for Germany. And it's an honor for me to be your host for this event today. But before we start and dive into today's discussion, I want to extend a warm welcome to all our attendees. Whether you are joining us from your office, home, or on the go, we really appreciate you taking the time to be here today. As you may know, today's webinar will focus on the e-learning platform that we as consortium of beside project have created, which is on DLT technologies and blockchain. And in a few minutes, my colleagues in this project will explain to all of you what the beside project is and what our objectives are. But before we start, a few housekeeping notes. As I mentioned at the beginning, we probably had some problem with the links. So some of you are seen in the screen. Some of you are just connected as participants. I'm really sorry for that. If you want, you can change your name by clicking on the three dots above your name. And if you have any questions during the webinar, please type them into the Q&A box, and we will address them at the end of the session during the Q&A session. And also, this session is being recorded, and a link to the recording will be shared with you afterward. But we will also send to all of you an evaluation questionnaire, which we kindly ask you to answer, as it is crucial for us to receive your feedback on the material we created for this project. Okay, so together with me, we have an excellent lineup of panelists who are experts in their fields. We have Filippo and Ivan from Cooperazione Bancaire pour l'Europe, Nadia from Fondazione Luigi Clerici, Lydia and Constantine from Lidi Smart Solution, Cedric from Frankfurt School, Marina from F6S, Alessio from The Hive. I will now give the floor to Filippo to tell us more about the project. So thanks for joining with me today, and Filippo, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Marina, for the introduction and for giving me the floor. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Filippo Pelissero. I work as a project manager at Coopération Bancaire pour l'Europe, an association of banks and the Chamber of Commerce based in Belgium. And we are one of the partners that implemented the beside project. Before handing over to my colleagues, Ivan, who will discuss the project's implementation in more detail, I would like to share with you how beside the project idea came about. This project is a spin-off and a follow-up of another Erasmus Plus Key Action 2 projects about vocational education training center and organization strategic partnership. Transition project was implemented from 2019 to 2021, and it aimed to create a blockchain training course for young entrepreneurs, startups, and trainers at the vocational training centers. This project generated significant interest among our bank's members. In fact, blockchain technology is becoming increasingly important, especially in the banking and digital finance sectors. It was during COVID time that the need to develop digital financial services to meet the needs of banks' customers emerged, and increasing the digital skills and the competence of financial operators become a priority, not only for Italian and Belgian and European banks, but especially one of the priority of the European Commission. This led to the idea of further developing the material from transition to create a new blockchain training course for banking and financial operators, incubators, and young graduates interested in working in digital finance. Thus, beside was born. We kept half of transition partnership, but we also expanded it, and we proposed the project idea to the German National Agency that funded our project in 2022. This project will be will be completed in a few months, and will be over in December 2024. The beside partnership includes 2 partners from Germany, 2 partners from Italy, one from Ireland, one from Netherlands, and one from Belgium. In details, in Germany, we have two German partners, the Italian Chamber of Commerce in Frankfurt, which is our project coordinator. And then we have our main technical expertise on blockchain, the blockchain department of Frankfurt University, which provided us a university level perspective of the course. Our two main Italian partners are Fondazione Luigi Clerici, our VET centers, that will give us the training perspective in the course. So we wanted to create a course that answer to the need of young graduates, but also of VET trainee. In Ireland, our partner is F6S, which is a specializing organization managing international funds and innovative projects as blockchain expertise. And finally, we have Lidi Smart Solution, our Dutch partner specializing in digital course and platform creation. And finally, there is a CBE, as I told you, the organization that I will represent today, that represent the bank and the Chamber of Commerce interests. Within the transition project, the partners that was already in the previously project was Cooperazione Bancaire pour l'Europe, Lidi, Fondazione Luigi Clerici, and the IFE, our second partners, which is in both the project in charge of the communication and dissemination. Now I will hand it over to Ivan, that will speak more in details about the objectives, the target group, and the impact, and I will be available at the end of the presentation for any consideration, any doubts, and any curiosity about beside the project, but also in general about the Key Action 2 Erasmus Plus projects. Thank you, everyone, and Ivan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Filippo. Hi, everybody. As Filippo said, introducing some key features of usE project regarding the objectives, impacts, and aims. Yeah, it's been already 1 year and a half since usE project started, and me and Filippo, we have been working together with the rest of the partnership since the beginning of the project. So, what's usE about? usE project aims to develop an innovative and up-to-date training material on digital finance and blockchain applications. This course is aimed to improve digital readiness and resilience of our target group, enabling them to manage their digital transformation that we are experiencing in the last years. So our target group consists in two main actors. By one part, we have financial operators. By the other side, we have vocational training centers. So financial operators and professionals with little knowledge of emerging technologies are probably the key feature, the key actor of our target group. And usE project aims to improve their digital readiness and enable financial operators to manage the digital transformation, providing them comprehensive and digitally updated financial services to their clients. By the other side, vocational training centers are aiming to adapt their courses to the new needs of the labor market, and which is experiencing this increasing demand of digital skilled professionals. And usE project aims to deliver these objectives, to deliver these outputs by creating an online educational program and implementing a training course. So about the first the first feature, it's composed of different steps that we already developed during the implementation, the first phase of the project implementation. And it consisted on identifying the skills and competences required by financial operators, taking into account the needs of the labor market and the needs of the clients of the financial operators. And we conducted this research through questionnaires for target groups. The next step after this was to define the syllabus and the learning methodology as well as the structure of the content of the course. Nadia of Fundación Clarity will go deeper on this after me. Finally, after these two steps, we proceeded with the creation and design of the training content that Konstantin will show you next. So, regarding the training course implementation, it's also consists in two phases. The first one is to develop the online training platform, which will be delivered the course in digital format in a easy accessible way and easy to a very visual way and completely free. And this will contribute to support the resilience of the vet sector after the COVID pandemic through the dissemination of digital education platforms. Regarding the training, financial operators will be the adoption of the professional profile of financial professionals to the needs of their clients and the labor market. I'm going to show you next some of the two meetings we already had. This one was during the kickoff meeting on December. As I said, the project started already 1.5 years ago. Now it's almost over. It will end, as Filippo said, on December of this year. After this first kickoff meeting, the partnership met again for the second time in our premises here in Brussels at CBE during December 2023. And as I said, now we are almost in the closing phase of the project. In a few months, it will be completely finished. So I'll leave the floor to my colleagues to go deeper on the syllabus and the presentation of the platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Ivan. Thank you, Filippo. Nadia will give the floor to you to explain more about the syllabus.
Okay, just 1 second. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, but not in full screen.
Just 1 minute now.
Yes.
So I am Nadia. I am working for Fondazione Luigi Clerici as project manager, but I have also experience in managing training courses and in creating also training material, also e-learning training materials. And what I would like to do now is to give you an overview of the syllabus. And then I would also like to talk to you about the importance of upskilling and reskilling for the labor market. So in order to give you really a perspective from the point of view of a vet center. So we've created a syllabus in order to give you an overview about the target group, the prerequisites, the duration, the learning models and units, and the activities involved and materials needed for the e-learning course. So what is actually the target group of this course? So we have actually different groups. We have on the one hand financial operators and their decision makers from different sectors such as banks, asset management, insurance companies, incubators, private equity, venture capital, and consulting companies, including also freelancers. Okay. And then vet centers and the trainers and coaches, because we really hope that also trainers, teachers, coaches use the materials for the students. They can also take out parts of the material and apply it to their courses. Okay. And then also financial service customers and also recent graduates from financial studies. So now, what are the prerequisites? So you need surely curiosity, okay? Then motivation, because it's actually also can be used as a self-learning tool so that you can follow it also autonomously. And there is a lot of motivation needed. And then you need also time to refresh and deepen your knowledge about all the topics around blockchain. And one more thing, you need to be ready to apply yourself, because there are a lot of different tasks waiting for you. Then it gives you information about the duration of the course. So the course consists of 3 main modules, okay? And these modules are then subdivided into basically 5 learning units. So each module has 5 learning units. The 5 learning units contain reading tasks, then 2 PowerPoint presentation, 1 self-assignment or task. So it's basically something that you can do by yourself, a task, and then 1 self-assessment questionnaire in order to understand where you are, what you have learned. And each learning unit takes then around 30-40 minutes to complete. So now this is an example of basically a module. Okay, we have here the financial module. So for example, it shows you here 3 learning units, there are then 2 more. Then the type of learning unit, the content, so it gives you a short overview about the content of each unit, and it tells you also what the learning outcomes are of each learning unit. Now I would like to talk to you a little bit about the importance of reskilling and upskilling. All of you know that we are now in the so-called 4th industrial revolution. This revolution has a huge impact basically on all of us. There is a rapid technological advancement. There is the digital transition and also increasing automation. And if you think just about your own personal life, how much has it changed within the last years? Just compare, like, for example, from my point of view, 20 years ago when I started university till now. And if I tell you just recently, I've cleaned up like the top floor of my house and basically found the first, what do you call them? The discs that were used, like really the first ones, those huge floppy disk type of storage material. And if you think where we are now, so it changes really, really fast, especially in the last year. And it has an impact on us personally and also professionally. And this impact can be seen in almost every country and in almost every sector. And there are changes of entire systems of production, management, and governance. And it shows also that there could be people left behind if they're not being upskilled or reskilled. So this is a very, very important topic for all sectors. Because there has to be also balance within society. All people need to have the opportunity to improve their skills, to be ready for the labor market, for the new requested skills and competences. So all this technical, basically, development brings opportunities for us, as we can see in our everyday lives. So we have the development of new products and services. There is also an increase of efficiency and productivity. But as you know, there are also a lot of challenges connected to this topic. There are changes of the needs in the labor market. There are changes of professions. There are changes with regards to competences. And there is also the so-called skills gap and skills mismatch. And I can see this personally also in my work, in my profession, since I'm dealing at the moment with the management of a training course, where also a lot of automation is going on. And I can see that there is not only the older generation that is not able to keep up with the technological advancement, but that also the younger generations, they have huge difficulties. They are not ready for this automation. So there is really this skills gap or the skills mismatch. And we have really to intervene as vet centers. It's one of our major tasks to keep the courses up to date, okay? And to really not focus only on the younger generations in order to provide them with competences so that they are ready for the labor market of now and the future. But we have also to offer courses for people who are in employment and who are at risk of losing their employment because of not being able to keep up with the current digital transition. Okay, so it is very important that vet centers and schools anticipate the needs of the labor market in order to offer innovative training courses. Therefore, the continuous collaboration with the labor market, with the companies, is fundamental. We have to create a network. We have to understand their needs, and we have to continuously update our training courses. Furthermore, flexible learning approaches are needed. We can also see here, there is the life-work balance. Especially people who are already working, they need very flexible approaches. This means short training courses, short training modules, which they can also use while on the bus, while on the train, while on lunch break, or in the evening, just for 10-15 minutes, okay? Because it would be very hard for them being at work and follow a very intensive training course. So therefore, flexibility is very important. Then the training courses need to be accessible and attractive. So we have to use these approaches, easy to use, easy to apply training courses, interesting training courses who really motivate people to participate. Young people and also older generations. So we really have to listen, on the one hand, as I said, to the labor market, but on the other hand, to our possible target group, to our students, and we have also to understand the different needs of the different generations. And listen to each individual, because you might also encounter a mixed group of trainees. So a group where you have younger generations and older generations, and this can be a huge challenge. So we need to be really flexible, open-minded, and really try to listen. So this is all by me. So later on, if you have any questions, I am available. Thank you for your attention. I give the floor now to Konstantin.
Thank you, Nadia and Marina. Let me share my screen. So you should be able to see it now. Can someone confirm?
No, at the moment, I think we are seeing ourselves. I don't know if it's Nadia's or your screen.
Is this?
Okay, yes, now we see it. Thanks, Konstantin.
So let me quickly guide you through the intuitive and visually appealing platform that has been created for this project. this is the homepage of the platform at mooc.besideproject.eu. And there are several things that I want to quickly go over. So the first page you should go to if you want to access the course is the register page. So here you need to enter your first name, last name, email address, and make a password. The name and email address are used so that you can generate a certificate once you complete the course and complete the quizzes with at least 60% success rate in answering the questions correctly. And I'll show you what that certificate looks like in a second. So you need to fill this in and make an account to be able to access the course. So I already have an account and I'm just going to quickly log in. So before showing the course, I want to quickly show the guide and syllabus, which can be found in the menu at the top of the website, which have already been discussed. So I have these open, but you can just click here. And this is the guide, which has general information about the project, the partners, and all kinds of information, and the syllabus, which is more specific to the contents of the course. So here we have the target group, the prerequisites, and things that Nadia already discussed, with, of course, the modules and the topics down here. So then we click this big Go to Course button to be able to look at the course. Of course, you need to register for it, but that is very intuitive. Once you create a account, you can click register for course and it gives you access. So I've completed all of this, but the content is right here. You can expand all of it and you can just go through it at your own pace. At the end of each module, there is a quiz which you need to answer if you want to generate the certificate. So you click on the module. Let me just show you what that looks like. The module is embedded into the website over here, but can also be downloaded. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, there is a download button so that it is available offline. And you can go to previous and next topic with these buttons over here. This is what a PowerPoint presentation looks like within the website, and you can look through that, which can also be downloaded if you want to. But now let me show you the certificate. So when you go back to the home page and you go to course, once you complete all of the modules, you need to click through all of them and click the complete button at the bottom, which I can't show you because I've already clicked it. But you get a certificate after passing through all of the content and answering the quizzes correctly. And you can click download certificate and it opens a PDF file with your name and the certificate of completion of the program, which you can download over here. So the platform is available in all of the partner languages, which are English, French, German, Dutch, and Italian. And that's pretty much all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Konstantin. Let me just add a few things. If you can stop sharing your screen.
Mm-hmm. How do I stop sharing?
It's the red button
Okay.
above. Thanks. Yeah, we decided to let people download all the material in Word and PowerPoint format so that vet centers can use it and customize them to their own lessons. So yes, this is what we prepared for you. But of course, if you need to add and change something, because of course it's a topic that is also constantly changing, it's possible for you to use the same PowerPoint and add your information or add the sources that you want to show to your students. I will now leave the floor to Cedric to go more into the detail of the course.
Excellent, cool. Thank you, Marina. Let me just pull up my screen. All right, here we go. Hi, everyone. I'm Cedric. I put together most of the course material, so the actual slides, the actual texts. A lot of that is thanks to my input. So with that being said, I want to open with, if you have any questions about anything related to the content, my email address is up here in the top right. Feel free to reach out to me directly, and I'm happy to help you with whatever problems you might find. That being said, let's dive right into the content of the Beside course. So to recap, our course objectives are providing a very approachable entry point to learning about blockchain technology, which is often very mysticized and oftentimes also misunderstood. So we really wanted to design a course that was accessible without any necessary prior knowledge. As Nadia said, all you need is curiosity and motivation. But at the same time, if you complete the course, if you run through all 15 units, I'm certain you will have a better understanding about blockchain than 99% of people in the world. So this course is by no means a end-all be-all, but it is a great entry point for anybody that's interested in learning about this new technology. And while we've designed this with specifically people working in the financial industry in mind, it's really open to anybody who's interested. So we specifically focused, like I said, on people in the financial industry, bankers, consultants, venture capital investors, recent graduates of financial courses, but you shouldn't be limited. If you're somebody that works, I don't know, in the art space and you want to learn a little bit about NFTs, there's something in here for you. Yeah, there's something for everybody. We've divided the course into 3 different modules, covering both covering financial, digital, and technological topics. The units build on each other, so the course does get a little bit more complicated as you go along, but it is very manageable, I would say. Overall, like I said, we have 3 modules. Each module consists of 5 units, and each unit takes about 30 to 40 minutes to complete. This also depends on whether the course is being done in self-study or in a collaborative classroom environment with an active trainer. These times can very much be adjusted, and it really depends on the depth that you want to go into with the module. But we would recommend planning in at least 30 minutes if you're doing this in a live classroom setting. Potentially a little bit more to be safe. So in the first module, we're covering the basics about cryptocurrencies, blockchain technology, and their practical implications. So this is, why does Bitcoin have value? Okay, how does decentralized consensus protocols, how do they work? What are smart contracts? How can they be used in various situations? And we kind of teach you the basics of the buzzword bingo so that you know what to look out for, what is an actual use case, and what is essentially something where blockchain adds no value, but it's just for the hype. So these are kind of the topics that we'll cover in module 1, and having gone through those, you will understand. In module 2, we look at the digital implication for both business models, but also digitization implications. So this is, for example, how can data be stored on blockchains? How can data be linked to blockchains? What concerns regarding GDPR do you need to look out for when you want to store something in, on, or near a blockchain? And we also look at external data connections that really empower smart contracts to reach a new level of effectiveness, so-called oracles. In the final module, we get a little bit technical, not too technical. There's essentially no coding involved, but we speak about wallets. So what are the different types of wallets? Hardware, software, cold, hot. How do you interact with actual Web3 applications? So kind of this interface between your wallet and an application. We teach you the basic security best practices. We go a lot deeper into Ethereum and Ethereum-based smart contracts. The assignment in this module is about specifically creating your own ERC20 token on an Ethereum testnet. We've written a full step-by-step tutorial It's a lot of copy and pasting. It's not as hard as it sounds, but I think it's a very rewarding experience for learners to see this. And if we're talking about performing this course in a classroom in a collaborative setting, then students can actually send their tokens back and forth with each other. So that kind of adds a whole other dimension. And ultimately, we also look at consensus protocols. So what makes blockchains work? We look at the big two, proof of work, proof of stake, but we also look into some alternatives that we're seeing a little bit more within the financial industry right now, so-called permissioned or private consensus protocols. So as Nadia already told you, each module consists of 5 different types of units. We have slides. These are made available as a PDF and can be gone through as a presentation, or students can, of course, go through them individually. But we would recommend specifically to you as trainers to present these and take questions as you go. Then we have assignments. Each module has 1 assignment. An assignment is basically a collaborative task, or it can be collaborative for learners to go through individually. In Unit 1, we ask learners to develop a blockchain-specific use case that fits to their industry, that fits to their background, based on what we've taught them about what is the value add of blockchain in a certain context. Then each unit also starts with a reading. This is a little document that serves as a primer on a certain topic, and yeah, really kind of acts as the introduction to this new module. And then finally, each module ends with a quiz. These are, I believe, 10-question multiple choice quizzes. They can be done as a self-evaluation, or of course, they can be administered and proctored in a classroom environment to evaluate students' learning progress. Overall, the modules are all designed pretty much in the same way. We start with an introductory reading, then we deep dive into the first topic of the module. Then there is an interactive assignment that builds on the first 2 units and kind of encourages learners to go a little bit deeper on their own. Then we deep dive into the second topic, and then the module is closed off with a self-evaluation quiz. So let's look at the individual modules in practice and talk a little bit about what the units entail. So like I already said, module 1 really covers the basics that learners need to understand. What is a blockchain? How is it different? How is like something like a US dollar stablecoin different from using something like PayPal? We talk about what is Bitcoin? Where did it come from? How does the consensus protocol work on a really, really basic level, just to give an understanding of what decentralized systems are. And we, of course, talk about the practical implications. So what kind of value add does blockchain bring in various business contexts? We could talk about automation through smart contract, potential efficiency gains, etc. This module really is the foundation of this course, and obviously we really strongly recommend doing the course in org. So like I said, we talk about digital currencies, blockchain use cases, pros and cons of using a blockchain for certain things. And we have a practical assignment in which we ask learners to develop a use case. This assignment can, when done in a collaborative classroom environment, really be done well in kind of a peer learning way. Individual learners can suggest their use cases, and then they can discuss with fellow students why it's a good idea or why it's not a good idea. And in the second deep dive, we take a little look at portfolio management, because we do have to acknowledge that blockchain and digital currencies are associated with a lot of hype, a lot of speculation. So this unit looks a little bit at how can you vet new tokens that you've maybe just heard of? How do you know if something is, let's say, a shitcoin or not? how can you protect yourself on a very, very basic level? Specifically, like I said, we start with a reading. The reading is an introduction to blockchain technology. Then we move on to the first deep dive, blockchain use cases, specifically in industry. We talk about practical implications, public and private blockchains. Then we move on to the first assignment of the course, use case development. I think I already mentioned that briefly, so I won't go into that any deeper. Then we have the second deep dive, which is portfolio management. And then we finish the module with a self-assessment multiple choice quiz. The second module is digital and digitization focused. So like I said, this is focused on how do we take things from the real world and represent them on blockchains, whether this is data or whether we're talking about tokenization of assets. This unit kind of covers everything in that respect. We also talk about digital payments using blockchain networks. So how can you, maybe if you're a small business, replace your credit card system by using something like the Bitcoin Lightning Network. These are the topics that we address in this unit. The introductory reading here focuses on tokenization, security token, the need for regulation or the case for regulation, and MiCAR, which is the Markets in Crypto Assets regulation that was just introduced in the EU, I believe last month or 2 months ago. So it's very current, and we hope that it stays up to date for at least a couple of years. A lot of experts actually expect a lot of the world to kind of follow MiCAR and create very similar regulation that is based upon this piece of legislation. So we expect this to remain relevant going forward. Then we do a deep dive into blockchain payments, which was the original use case of digital currencies. So Bitcoin started out as digital cash before we started building new platforms with newer features. The original idea of blockchain was a digital peer-to-peer cash system. So we decided to devote a whole unit to this topic. We talk about digital payments. How specifically can this be implemented in stores? What kind of infrastructure is needed from a hardware and a software side? What are some of the issues with digital blockchain-based payments, specifically looking at high fees? If you've ever sent a transaction on Bitcoin or Ethereum, you're probably very familiar with that. So we talk about alternative ways to do payments via second layers that lower fees. And we take a specific look at payment tools that merchants can use to make their lives a little bit easier. The assignment in this module focuses on carbon offset tokenization as an example of what tokenization is. The idea is to teach learners how does the process work of taking something in the real world, whether it be something tangible like a factory or a car, or something intangible like a copyright or a carbon offset, and then how do you represent that on chain? So in this assignment, we challenge learners to kind of do their own research and deep dive this topic and prepare presentations for their peers. So this is another assignment that works really well in a collaborative learning environment that's being supervised by a trainer. Then the next unit, the second deep dive of this module, focuses on data storage, GDPR, and oracles. This is a very interesting and also very critical topic if we're talking institutional use of blockchain, because anything that is stored on a blockchain is stored there permanently, inalterable forever. And that's obviously in no way GDPR conform. So we talk about other ways in which data can be saved and made available for blockchain-based use cases. We also talk about oracles, which are a type of middleware that make real-world data, such as the weather in Mexico City today, or the location of my package according to the shipping provider. Oracles make these types of data available to smart contracts in a way that can be verified to be true. So this data cannot be altered, and really oracles unlock the power of smart contracts. It's kind of a complicated topic to explain right here on the spot, but if you're interested in that, definitely check out Module 2, Unit 4. And as always, this module concludes with a self-assessment quiz. Going forward to the final module, this one is a little bit more challenging, and I think a lot of learners, if they were to start with this one, they would feel overwhelmed. But having done modules 1 and 2, we think that learners are ready for this, and we don't think that they're going to be too challenged or frustrated with the tasks. Yeah. So in this module, we speak about wallets, securities, best practice of how to store your assets, how to interact with Web3. This is really basic knowledge that is, in my opinion, hindering a lot of institutions, a lot of companies from entering the space. They don't know how to store their assets. We saw this recently with the German government selling something like 50,000 Bitcoins. And I saw a conversation on LinkedIn and people were talking about how, like, well, if I were working for the government, like, I would sell that as soon as possible. Like, I'm making a government salary and I'm responsible for 50,000 Bitcoins. Like, there's no upside if it goes down, but if I mess up key management, my career is over. So this is definitely a very vital and important topic. And we do go in and look at this on a very intense and deep level. We talk about how these different wallets can be used to interface with decentralized applications. So if we're talking about things like DeFi, do you want to use a software wallet? How do you link your hardware wallet to your software wallet to then sign a transaction that's being given to you from a decentralized application? We do also another deep dive into Ethereum and smart contracts specifically. Yeah, as the learners create their own token on Ethereum testnet, which sounds complicated, but it's really not. And we really think it's a very, very rewarding part of this learning journey. I know it was for me, so want to pass that experience on. And we also look at consensus protocols in depth. How does Bitcoin mining work? How are transactions verified? All of that. So that's a fun, challenging final unit before going on to the last self-assessment quiz. And I was thinking of maybe showing some of the units in particular, but I think we are already almost out of time. So if you have any questions about any units in particular, like I said, my email address is on the first slide. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help you. I'm happy to help you help your students. So with that being said, I think we're moving on to the Q&A portion. Is that right, Marina?
Yes, correct. Thank you, Cedric, very much for explaining so well everything that you coordinated with us during this phase of the project. As I said, Cedric showed his email address, but you also can go to our project website, and there is also the project email where you can ask your questions directly to us. Otherwise, we saw some questions in the Q&A box. We saw one regarding the platform and compliance with the GDPR regulation of the European Union. I would kindly ask Lydia to elaborate a little bit more on it. But as Ivan already said, we are compliant.
Thank you, Marina. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you very much for this question. Yes, I can confirm that we comply with the GDPR regulations. The information that we collect, the email address and the name, are stored in a right way. And when a person initially go to the platform, there is a link where all this is explained in a document. So how we deal with that private information is explained there, but I can confirm that we comply with these regulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Lydia. If there are no other questions from your side, from the attendees side, I would like to thank again everyone for taking some time to explain the material and the work that we did so far in this project. This webinar is important for us to deliver the platform and explain to vet centers and vet centers representative how to use the material that we produce. And we are relying also on your kind feedback after this webinar to improve more the material that we provided so far. So that's why you are going to receive a questionnaire after this webinar, and thanks already in advance for replying to it. As said, we are also available to all of your questions via email. You have our contacts in the project website that Marina already showed in the chat to all of you. If you have problem to access to the chat, just let us know. Otherwise, we also are on LinkedIn. Alessio is managing our LinkedIn page. You can also write us there. And if there are no other questions from the public, I saw Marina already replied to a few of them privately. And if you don't have any other curiosity regarding the project.
Actually, Marina, if I might ask a question, just to follow up on what Filippo said in the beginning. So besides a project that is like a follow-up of another project that took place in the past, so maybe Filippo wants to clarify a bit how we will ensure the sustainability of this side project after December 2024 and after we end this. So we didn't do this just for the fun of doing it. We want this to be sustainable.
Thank you, Marina. We will guarantee the sustainability of the project throughout two actions. The first action was already explained by Cedric. All the material are open resources. They can be modified by vet trainers or from coach of companies with the new technologically update. We know that the world of blockchain and digital finance is speeding fast. So all the material is free to be downloadable and free to be updated. Secondly, our partnership is composed by different companies in touch with our main target group. There is us as a Coopération Bancaire pour l'Europe that we can give assistance to our banks and Chamber of Commerce and to their clients to guide them on the project course, but as well Fondazione Luigi Clerici and the Frankfurt University represents the main target group, the trainers and the university graduates. So thanks to this organization, the course will be held also in presence, and it will be improved by the time and by the feedback that the students will provide us. And finally, also the Hive as incubators can spread the course between their startups and their companies, and Lydia Smart Solution that give training offers throughout their website. This is another way we can guarantee the sustainability and a strong impact over the years. Finally, also our website will be available for 5 years, and for any trainers that will get in contact with us, we will be able to offer them guidelines and any feedback and any answer to their problem. So this is how we were thinking to implement our sustainability plan. Thank you, Marina, for asking it.
And thank you, Filippo, for answering. I don't see any other question from the audience. So I would also thank the attendees to be present and give us their time for discovering the B-Side project. Just I wanted to add that in the last part of the year, around October, November, December, we are gonna have in-person event in all the partner countries. So if you want to know us more about the project and you want to meet us in person, so we are going to present the project in all partner countries. We are going to, of course, do some publicity about it, and we are going to send information about that. And yeah, as said, you're going to receive now a questionnaire, enroll to the platform and check it out on yourself. And if the other partners don't have anything else to say, I would close the webinar for today. It's been 1 hour. I think it was insightful. And yeah, thanks everyone for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.